and welcome to Maverick Mondays. This is where we talk about everything Maverick and what that means for you and I. We're going to be talking about big rocks today. And yes, those big rocks that are going on for your big plans for 2020. And I want to talk to you about what you're doing to really prepare for this big next decade of your life and what that means for you. My name is Paul Finck. I'm the Maverick Millionaire, and I'm here to talk to you about what it means to be a maverick, what it means to create abundance in your world, what it means to really create the life of your dreams. We are here hanging out, and hey, Christine, how are you guys? We are here hanging out and really creating a magnitude of results, magnitude of abundance in our world, because every single day we stay focused on our dreams, our big vision for the future, as well as what we're doing every day to stay connected to that. You see, as a maverick, one of the things that I talk about is how to do things differently, how to do things differently than the average person to create a whole different spectrum of results. That small fractional changes today can lead to an abundance tomorrow, and massive action today will lead to, well, a whole new life in the future. So what does that look like? We're entering into our next big decade, 2020. This is the year for you and the year for many people in really getting clear with what they're going to do, what they're going to be, and how they're going to build their life on purpose with intent. See, now, the key components are, and I talk about these big rocks, there's a parable that kind of goes like this, and that is that you've got a whole lot of stuff, rocks and pebbles and sand and water, and you want to put it into a bucket. Well, you want to put it into the bucket, and so you put the big rocks, you put all the water and the sand and the pebbles and the small rocks, and when you go to put the big rocks in, if you put it in that order where you put in the water and the sand and the small rocks and all the pebbles and all the stuff, and you put it in that order, when you go to put the big rocks in, they just don't fit. They don't fit into the container because the container has been filled up by all the small stuff. And I don't mean the small stuff in life that make up our great life. I mean the stuff that is inconsequential, the garbage in our life that we tend to fill our life, our day, our existence with, rather than filling it with the things that are really, really meaningful in our world. So we want to fill it with the meaningful things. How do we do that? Same scenario. We've got all this stuff to put into our container, or in this case, our life. When we put the big rocks in first, the things that are the most important to us, the things that are really going to make a difference, we put those big rocks in first. Then we put the small rocks in. Then we dump the pebbles in, and they kind of fall in between all the small rocks and the big rocks. Then we put in, we could put in a bag of sand, and it would fill in all the spaces in between. We'd still have room for it. And then we fill everything else in with the water, and we'd be able to get so much more into our life. And it all starts with, and the real key components here is, it starts with making sure that you pay attention and you focus in on putting the big things into your life first, and then everything else will take care of itself. Everything else will have space and time and room. So I want to talk to you about, hey Dan, how you doing? I want to talk to you about how to put the big rocks in first. What are your big rocks for 2020? What are you putting into your world first and foremost? So what are the big things that you want to accomplish in 2020? What are the big things that you want to do? What are the big things you want to create? What are the big things you want to experience? What are all those big things, those big rocks in your life? What are those? So some of the things are, your family and your significant others, your immediate family, and making sure you're spending time and focusing in on their needs, wants, desires, and your relationship with them. Maybe it's your work and what you're doing with that. And then we can go a little layer deeper is, what are you doing within those spectrums to make them better? What's your goals? What's your dreams for that? What does it look like? For me, I know on the work environment, for instance, I've got some big plans for 2020, some huge plans. I plan on writing my flagship book for the Maverick community so that I can really share my ideas and my principles so that all of you that are here now listening to this, you really get an idea from reading my book, who I am, what I'm about, and how you can start implementing the components that I teach every day. See, I teach and coach people every day on how to live this abundant life, how to really stay focused. And so I want to come out with that flagship book. It's one of my big rocks. Again, I ask, and I want you to share right here, what are your big rocks? What are the big things that you have planned to do for 2020? A couple of the things that I know, I'm going to be experiencing my 50th boot camp. So excited. We're going to be having that in Las Vegas in July. My 50th boot camp ever. This is key of my own personal boot camps, that is. I've run over 250 boot camps all around the world. However, 50 of my own 3-day boot camps. You want to get information, anybody that's interested in that isn't aware of my boot camps, absolutely go and direct message us below and we'll take care of you. For everybody, what are your big things? What are your big plans? A couple other things I want to do that I know. I want to increase my communication with all of you. And so I'm working on different techniques and strategies and planning it out. Within our mastermind group, and I run mastermind groups all around the country, and in my mastermind groups, we talk about how to plan, how to really organize your life. Because a good life doesn't happen just because. It doesn't happen just because you want it to. It doesn't happen because you are just intent on having one. It happens because you've created an abundance in your world. You've created a magnitude in your life by planning it out, by absolutely doing today what's going to drive your life forward. So for all those things that you want to accomplish in 2020, what have you mapped out? What have you figured out in your life to make it happen today? If you reverse engineer it, and we talk about that in my training, you reverse engineer it and you figure out, what do I need to do today that's going to lead to my big rock being accomplished in the future? What do I do today? And then I put it into my calendar and I get it done. Well, you could actually plan out what you're supposed to do every single day, or at least start putting in the big chunks, days, weeks, months, and even multiple months, quarters, and even a year in advance. Matter of fact, I recommend to plan out 18 months in advance, an 18-month calendar to really get clear with what you're doing, how you're doing it, and where you're going. So what's your 18-month plan? Do you have it mapped out? What are you going to be doing week to week, month to month? For what I'm going to be doing in writing my book, I've got a game plan now set in stone between now and July to make it happen. When I have to hit certain milestones to make it happen. How many chapters I need to write in a certain month, and what needs to happen in the outline. When do I have to finish? When do I have to get it to the editor, etc. All those components need to be in place now for me to actually make this happen. What about you? What are your big rocks? I want you to share them here. What are the big things that you want to accomplish? One of the things that I'm doing for 2020 is increasing the technology I'm utilizing in my company and in my world. You're going to be hearing more about that coming soon. I'm actually coming out with a Maverick app. That's right, a Maverick Success app where we're going to be sharing more and more information with you right through the app technology. We're going mobile, and so we're going to be sharing mobile technology with you across the board on how you can be utilizing this in your life and utilizing it for your own purposes and communicating with our community and our Mavericks and our masterminds. Who thinks that's awesome? All these things are being planned out now, laid in stone, so that as the year goes on, the year isn't a complete surprise to me as to how it turns out. I planned it in advance. So thus I was able to create the life that I always wanted. The abundance that you want in your life, it's going to happen because you pre-plan. It's going to happen because you take massive action. It's going to happen because you take inventory of what's working, what's not working, and you shift and adjust every single day. Have you analyzed what happened in 2019? Did you analyze what you've been going through and how you got to where you are now? Both the good and the bad, the ineffective and effective. What worked? Hold on to that. Multiply it. What didn't work? Eliminate it or adjust it. Do your analysis now on 2019. This is a great time to do it. Do it now to create that magnitude of abundance in the future. I've been talking a little bit. I want all of you to absolutely share your big rocks. I want you to share your big adventures for 2020. What are they going to be? I know I'm going to be doing a ton of traveling and making sure that I'm traveling with my lovely bride, Deborah, and so the two of us are going to enjoy life while we're creating abundance and sharing our world with all of you. We're also going to be going through in increasing our magnitude of touch, increasing our magnitude of connectivity with all of you, both online and offline. We're going to be creating all this so that we can continue to have the life of our dreams. I want you to continue to share. Go ahead and tell me your big rocks for 2020. Go ahead and do that now. We're going to be looking at this post over and over again to engage with you and share back. In the meantime, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you all around the corner and around in the new decade. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire. Till next time, everyone.